Why has the tractor got flashing amber lights? To warn you it's a slow-moving vehicle. To warn you it has a wide load. To tell you not to overtake. To warn you it's breaking down. What do the lines along the center of the road mean? No stopping. No overtaking. They mark the center of the road. There's a hazard ahead. Why does the cyclist take the longer route around the roundabout? The cyclist is riding into a one-way street. It's easier to give arm signals while you're on the left. Cyclists may keep to the left for safety. To avoid being dazzled by the sun. Bus driver position the bus on the left. In case the pedestrian wants to get on the bus. The bus needs extra room to get around the roundabout. The sign on the roundabout is directing traffic to keep left. To get a better view of the roundabout. What do the yellow lines along the edge of the road mean? They are rumble strips. They mark the edge of the road. Pedestrians shouldn't cross where there are yellow lines. No waiting. You're driving on a busy main road. What should you do if you find that you're driving in the wrong direction? Turn into a side road on the right and reverse into the main road. Make a U-turn in the main road. Make a three-point turn in the main road. Turn around in a side road. You want to reverse into a side road. What should you do if you aren't sure that the area behind your car is clear? Look through the rear window only. Get out and check. Check the mirrors only. Carry on, assuming it's clear. What's the maximum fine for driving or riding without insurance? Unlimited. £500. £1,000. £5,000. You're looking for somewhere to park your vehicle. Neither you or your passenger are disabled. What should you do if the only free spaces are marked for disabled drivers? Use one of these spaces. Park in one of these spaces but stay with your vehicle. Use one of the spaces as long as one is kept free. Wait for a regular parking space to become free. Which instrument panel warning light would show that headlights are on main beam? What should you do when you're using a contraflow system? Choose an appropriate lane in good time. Switch lanes to make better progress. Increase speed to get through the contraflow more quickly. Follow other motorists closely to avoid long queues. You're at the scene of an incident. How could you help someone who's suffering from shock? Reassure them confidently. Offer them a cigarette. Give them a warm drink. Offer them some food. You wish to tow a trailer. Where would you find the maximum nose weight for your vehicle's towage? In the vehicle handbook. In the highway code. In your vehicle registration certificate. In your license documents. When must you use dipped headlights during the day? All the time you're driving. When you're driving along narrow streets. When you're driving in poor visibility. When you're parking. Why is it particularly important to check your vehicle before making a long motorway journey? You'll have to do more harsh braking on motorways. Motorway services areas don't deal with breakdowns. The road surface will wear down the tires faster. Continuous high speeds increase the risk of your vehicle breaking down. You see a pedestrian carrying a white stick that also has a red band. What does this mean? They have limited mobility. They're deaf. They're blind. They're deaf and blind. What should you do if a tire bursts while you're driving? Pull on the parking brake. Brake as quickly as possible. Pull up slowly at the side of the road. Continue on at a normal speed. The road is wet. Why would a motorcyclist steer around drain covers while they were cornering? To avoid puncturing the tires on the edge of the drain covers. To prevent the motorcycle sliding on the metal drain covers. To help judge the bend using the drain covers as marker points. To avoid splashing pedestrians on the pavement. Which type of crossing allows cyclists to ride across with pedestrians? Toucan. Puffin. Pelican. Zebra. You've just gone through flood water. What should you do to make sure your brakes are working properly? Accelerate and keep to a high speed for a short time. Go slowly while gently applying the brakes. Avoid using the brakes at all for a few miles. Stop for at least an hour to allow them time to dry. There's been a collision. A motorcyclist is lying injured and unconscious. Why should you only remove their helmet if it's essential? They might not want you to remove it. Removing it could make any injuries worse. Removing it could let them get cold. You could scratch the helmet as you remove it. What's the meaning of this sign? Local speed limit applies. No waiting on the carriageway. National speed limit applies. No entry for vehicles. You're driving in a built-up area that has traffic calming measures. What should you do when you approach a road hump? Move across to the left-hand side of the road. Wait for any pedestrians to cross. Check your mirror and slow down. Stop and check both pavements. What does this sign mean? Change to the left-hand lane. Leave at the next exit. Contraflow system. One-way street. You're on a motorway that isn't subject to smart motorway regulations. When should you use a hard shoulder? When you're stopping in an emergency. When you're leaving the motorway. When you're stopping for a rest. When you're joining the motorway. What should you do if you park on the road when it's foggy? Leave parking lights switched on. Leave dipped headlights and fog lights switched on. Leave dipped headlights switched on. Leave main beam headlights switched on. You've driven up to a pelican crossing. What must you do while the amber light is flashing? Signal the pedestrian to cross. Always wait for the green light before proceeding. Give way to any pedestrians on the crossing. Wait for the red and amber light before proceeding. You're driving in traffic at the speed limit for the road. What should you do if the driver behind is trying to overtake? Move closer to the car ahead, so the driver behind has no room to overtake. Wave the driver behind to overtake when it's safe. Keep a steady course and allow the driver behind to overtake. Accelerate to get away from the driver behind. Why should you reduce your speed when you're driving or riding in fog? The brakes don't work as well. You'll be dazzled by other headlights. The engine will take longer to warm up. It's more difficult to see what's ahead. You're about to overtake a cyclist on a road that has a 30 mph speed limit. How much room should you leave them as you overtake? At least as much room as you would if you were overtaking a car. At least a car's width. At least a car's length. At least 2 car widths. You want to turn right at a box junction. What should you do if there's oncoming traffic? Wait in the box junction if your exit is clear. Wait before the junction until it's clear of all traffic. Drive on. You can't turn right at a box junction. Drive slowly into the box junction when signaled by oncoming traffic. You do if the amber lights come on and a warning sounds while you're driving over a level crossing. Get everyone out of the vehicle immediately. Stop and reverse back to clear the crossing. Keep going and clear the crossing. Stop immediately and use your hazard warning lights. Which driving technique can help you save fuel? Using lower gears as often as possible. Accelerating sharply in each gear. Using each gear in turn. Missing out some gears. What's the meaning of this traffic sign? End of two-way road. Give priority to vehicles coming towards you. You have priority over vehicles coming towards you. Bus lane ahead. At an incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. How could you help them? Apply lotions to the injury. Burst any blisters. Remove anything sticking to the burns. Douse the burns with clean, cool water. What could cause you to crash if the level is allowed to get too low? Antifreeze level. Brake fluid level. Battery water level. Radiator coolant level. What legal requirement must be met by a newly qualified driver? They must display green L plates. They must have a new photograph taken for their full license. They must be accompanied on their first motorway journey. They must have valid motor insurance. You're driving along a country road. You see this sign. What should you do after dealing safely with the hazard? Check your tire pressures. Switch on your hazard warning lights. Accelerate briskly. Test your brakes. You're invited to a pub lunch. What should you do if you know that you'll have to drive in the evening? Avoid mixing your alcoholic drinks. Don't drink any alcohol at all. Have some milk before drinking alcohol. Eat a hot meal with your alcoholic drinks. On a 3-lane motorway, which lane should you use if there's no traffic ahead? Left. Right. Center. Either the right or center. You lose control of your car and damage a garden wall. What must you do if the property owner isn't available? Report the incident to the police within 24 hours. Go back to tell the house owner the next day. Report the incident to your insurance company when you get home. Find someone in the area to tell them about it immediately. What's most likely to waste fuel? Reducing your speed. Driving on motorways. Using different brands of fuel. Underinflated tires. What will happen if you follow this vehicle too closely? Your brakes will overheat. Your fuel consumption will be increased. Your engine will overheat. Your view ahead will be reduced. What's the minimum time gap you should leave when following a vehicle on a wet road? 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. 4 seconds. What does this sign mean? Contraflow cycle lane. With flow cycle lane. Cycles and buses only. No cycles or buses. You're following a vehicle on a wet road. You stay a safe distance behind it. What should you do if a driver overtakes you and pulls into the gap you've left? Flash your headlights as a warning. Try to overtake safely as soon as you can. Drop back to regain a safe distance. Stay close to the other vehicle until it moves on. What does it mean if your vehicle keeps bouncing after you sharply press down and release on the bodywork over a wheel? The tires are worn. The tires are underinflated. The vehicle is on soft ground. The shock absorbers are worn. What color are the reflective studs between the hard shoulder and the left-hand lane of a motorway? Green. Red. White. Amber. You're waiting at a level crossing. What should you do if the red warning lights continue to flash after a train has passed by? Get out and investigate. Telephone the signal operator. Continue to wait. Drive across carefully. When should you flash your headlights at other road users? When showing that you're giving way. When showing that you're about to turn. When telling them that you have right of way. When letting them know that you're there. What does the white line along the side of the road indicate? The edge of the carriageway. The approach to a hazard. No parking. No overtaking. Why should you look carefully for motorcyclists and cyclists at junctions? They may want to turn into the side road. They may slow down to let you turn. They're harder to see. They might not see you turn. In order to supervise a learner driver, you need to have held a full driving license for the same category of vehicle, for at least 3 years. What other requirement must you meet? To have a car with dual controls. To be at least 21 years old. To be an approved driving instructor. To hold an advanced driving certificate. What can seriously reduce your ability to concentrate? Drugs. Busy roads. Tinted windows. Weather conditions. You're driving on an icy road. What distance from the car in front should you drive? 4 times the normal distance. 6 times the normal distance. 8 times the normal distance. 10 times the normal distance. How should you position yourself when you use the emergency telephone on a motorway? Stay close to the carriageway. Face the oncoming traffic. Keep your back to the traffic. Stand on the hard shoulder. You're traveling along this road. How should you pass the cyclist? Sound your horn as you pass. Keep close to them as you pass. Leave them plenty of room as you pass. Change down 1 gear before you pass. A horse rider is in the left-hand lane approaching a roundabout. Where should you expect the rider to go? In any direction. To the right. To the left. Straight ahead. What's the national speed limit on motorways for cars and motorcycles? 30 miles per hour. 50 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour. 70 miles per hour. When will a new car need its first motor test? When it's 1 year old. When it's 3 years old. When it's 5 years old. When it's 7 years old. What's likely to happen if you use a hands-free phone while you're driving? It will improve your safety. It will increase your concentration. It will reduce your view. It will divert your attention. How can you reduce the environmental harm caused by your motor vehicle? Only use it for short journeys. Don't service it. Drive faster than normal. Keep engine revs low. What does this signal mean? Cars must stop. Trams must stop. Both trams and cars must stop. Both trams and cars can continue. You're waiting to turn right out of a minor road. It's clear to the left but a lorry is coming from the right. Why should you wait, even if you have enough time to turn? Anything overtaking the lorry will be hidden from view. The lorry could suddenly speed up. The lorry might be slowing down. The load on the lorry might be unstable. What helps to reduce traffic bunching on a motorway? Variable speed limits. Contraflow systems. National speed limits. Lane closures. When should you check the engine oil level? Before a long journey. When the engine is hot. Early in the morning. Every time you drive the car. You wish to tow a trailer. Where would you find the maximum nose weight for your vehicle's towage? In the vehicle handbook. In the highway code. In your vehicle registration certificate. In your license documents. How should you signal if you're going straight ahead at a roundabout? Signal right on the approach and then left to leave the roundabout. Signal left after you leave the roundabout and enter the new road. Signal right on the approach to the roundabout and keep the signal on. Signal left just after you pass the exit before the one you're going to take. You're traveling in very heavy rain. How is this likely to affect your overall stopping distance? It will be doubled. It will be halved. It will be 10 times greater. It will be no different. Why is it important to make full use of the slip road as you join a motorway? Because there's space available to turn round if you need to allow you direct access to the overtaking lanes, to allow you to fit safely into the traffic flow in the left-hand lane, because you can continue on the hard shoulder. The road outside this school is marked with yellow zigzag lines. What do these lines mean? You may park on the lines when dropping off schoolchildren. You may park on the lines when picking up schoolchildren. You shouldn't wait or park your vehicle here. You must stay with your vehicle if you park here. What's the purpose of these road markings? To ensure children can see and be seen when they're crossing the road. To enable teachers to have clear access to the school. To ensure delivery vehicles have easy access to the school. To enable parents to pick up or drop off children safely. You're joining a motorway from a slip road. How should you deal with traffic already on the motorway? Carry on along the hard shoulder until you see a safe gap. Stop at the end of the slip road and look for a safe gap. Use the slip road to accelerate until you're moving much faster than the motorway traffic. Match your speed to traffic in the left-hand lane and filter into a safe gap. What does this sign mean? No trams ahead. Oncoming trams. Trams crossing ahead. Trams only. Following a collision, a person has been injured. What would be a warning sign for shock? Flushed complexion. Warm dry skin. Slow pulse. Rapid shallow breathing. What should you do before making a U-turn? Give an arm signal as well as using your indicators. Check road markings to see that U-turns are permitted. Look over your shoulder for a final check. Select a higher gear than normal. What should you do if you have to make a journey in foggy conditions? Follow other vehicles' tail lights closely. Avoid using dipped headlights. Leave plenty of time for your journey. Keep 2 seconds behind the vehicle ahead. Where would you find these road markings? At a railway crossing. At a mini roundabout. On a motorway. On a pedestrian crossing. What does it mean if the signs at a bus lane show no times of operation? The lane isn't in operation. The lane is only in operation at peak times. The lane is in operation 24 hours a day. The lane is only in operation in daylight hours. Where will you see these red and white markers? Approaching the end of a motorway. Approaching a concealed level crossing. Approaching a concealed speed limit sign. Approaching the end of a dual carriageway. What should you do if you want to overtake a tractor but aren't sure that it's safe? Follow another vehicle as it overtakes the tractor. Sound your horn to make the tractor driver pull over. Speed past, flashing your lights at oncoming traffic. Stay behind it if you're in any doubt. You're waiting to turn right at the end of a road. What should you do if your view is obstructed by parked vehicles? Stop and then move forward slowly and carefully for a clear view. Move quickly to where you can see so you only block traffic from one direction. Wait for a pedestrian to let you know when it's safe for you to emerge. Turn your vehicle around immediately and find another junction to use. How can you avoid wasting fuel? By having your vehicle serviced regularly. By revving the engine in the lower gears. By keeping an empty roof rack on your vehicle. By driving at higher speeds where possible.